Good evening, fellow Meconians and my esteemed guests.
Good evening.
I would like all of us to give a huge round of applause to our VP Apurva. Now I will explain to everyone what the reason is for this appreciation. We were supposed to have our club contest, that is table topics and humorous contest, this Monday, but due to unavailability of the required number of judges, we had to postpone to a future date. And within 2 days, she has put the meeting together with all the required rules. So this is the reason why I requested all of you to give a huge round of applause to our VPE. Again. Apurva, if you're watching this recording, excellent. And nothing from the president other than that. And since we do not have a VP, no more announcements, and our sergeant can take over.
Yeah, but only one question.
Yes, sir.
Any thought on when she will be ready with the contest?
So we are all ready with the contest. Only problem is we need to get a chief judge and the number of judges coming in. The problem is in our division, every club is having the humorous speech and table topic contest. So the availability of judges is getting a little problem area for us. Probably November ending or December first week we have in our mind. And I and Apurva coordinating with area director to get the chief judges. The problem is I can't get anyone from my club. Or if I had veterans over there who could take the charge, but I cannot take anyone from my club. So I have someone outside only coming. So I have to wait. The moment I get a green signal from any of the persons who can be the chief judge and the judges required, then we'll go ahead with the contest. And we will not be having the area contest this term. The area contest, division, everything is going to be the next term. So only we are going to conduct the table topics and humorous speech, club contest. All the other contests is going to be for the next term, that is from January to this June 2026. Over to the sergeant.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Toastmasters meeting.
Good evening.
Now, can anyone tell me what this image is?
It looks like a burnt paper.
Any guesses? Silly, serious?
Galaxy.
Very close. Any other guesses?
Something like, something I've written and then it was rubbed out and then
Smudging.
Charcoal. Very creative. Okay, so Sir was almost there, almost hit the mark. This is a galaxy, and I'm pretty sure all of you know what this is and have seen this, but you've seen a different version of it. So, have you seen this?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So this is the Crab Head Nebula captured by the Hubble telescope. Now, here's the thing, right? So this is not what you would see with your naked eye. This is not what you would see if you were to be standing in front of the nebula and looking at it. You would see something pretty close to this or some variation of this. So how do you go from here to here? Well, that's where the interesting part comes in. Scientists take all the raw data that you capture from the different cameras taken at different wavelengths, and then they layer it on top of each other. They do some amount of wrangling, and then they produce this awe-inspiring image of something millions and millions of years away. So, and this is what usually comes to mind when someone talks about narratives and numbers. The data is all around us. There's a ton of data right now. This is the age of data. But what are the stories that we can gain or extract from the data? That is what is most interesting to most people. If you just show them data like this blank picture, it's not going to be interesting. And what also matters is how you look at the data. Each perspective, each angle gives you a new story. So from today's meeting, I'm hoping we can hear some really interesting stories from each of our members. Now, coming to our president, who is a woman of many talents. One of her talents is her knack for storytelling. So, you would have heard from her many, many speeches in the club about her anecdotes from her career as a skills development trainer, from her tales of interrogating spam callers and anecdotes from her personal life. In terms of hobbies, she loves traveling, reading, and cooking. Please join me in welcoming our President, Toastmaster Latha.
Good evening, fellow Meconians and my esteemed guests.
Good evening.
I see we have a couple of guests over here. I would request the guests to please introduce yourself. Please stand wherever you are. Tell us your name and how did you come to know about us now? Yes, please.
My name is Deepa. Wanted to learn public speaking, so we Googled Toastmasters and that's how we came. This has been in the pipeline for a long time, somehow it happened today.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. And I'm Sudha, by the way, and I stay close by. And Mecon, Toastmasters and Mecon, this has always been, in my thoughts for a very long time. And we just gave ourselves a deadline, and today we are unboxing ourselves here.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Madhusudhan. I just saw which is the closest one, and this was the closest one. That's why I just.
Hi everyone, I am Akash Kumar. I have been staying in Bangalore from last 1 year, and from last 2 months I have been visiting 2-3 different clubs. Like one I visited Formula Club and one Medium Club, but the time and the days were not suitable. So I stopped in Midhun for the last 1 month, and then yesterday I was searching no, I have to join a club. So and Monday will work the best. So I searched in a Toastmasters club website, saw that this Medium Club is there and it runs on Monday. So I'm there. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you guys for introduction. I hope to see you at Meconians very soon. Now I would like to call upon our Secretary Toastmaster Madhu to read out the MOM for meeting number 1340.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. This is the minutes of the meeting for meeting number 1340 held on the 3rd of November 2025. Theme was a sense of feeling. The word of the week was hindrance. The business session started at 6:25 p.m. and was chaired by the President Toastmaster Latha. In the business session, the following points were addressed by her. The humorous speech and the table topics contest would be held on the November 10th meeting and requested members to participate in large numbers by giving their names to the Vice President Education Toastmaster Apurva TR. On behalf of the Vice President Education, the President announced that there would be no prepared speeches for the meeting on the November 10th, owing to the humorous and table topics contest being held. The regular meeting started at 6:27 p.m. The Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Rachana started the meeting with an introduction about the theme and later handed over the charge to President Toastmaster Latha. President Toastmaster Latha opened the meeting, spoke on the theme and introduced the Master of Ceremonies, Toastmaster Chetan Vasish. The Master of Ceremonies spoke on the theme and introduced the following role takers for the day. Timer was Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa GS, R Counter was Toastmaster Rekha J, PP Evaluator was Toastmaster Midhun, Grammarian was Toastmaster Rahul R Gandhi. There was one prepared speaker, it was Toastmaster Ajay Rao. The pathway was dynamic leadership and the evaluator was Toastmaster Deepa Krishna Reddy. The table topic session was conducted by Toastmasters Shuba Subramaniam and had 13 speakers in total. The general evaluation was conducted by DTM and U Bhat. The winners of the week were Best Prepared Speaker Toastmaster Ajay Rao, Best Evaluator Toastmaster Deepa Krishna Reddy, Best Table Topic Speaker, Toastmaster Ujwal NK. Best Role Taker, TAPG was Toastmaster Rahul R Gandhi, and Best Role Taker for MTG was Toastmaster Chetan Vasish and DTM and U Bhat. The President closed the meeting at 8:21 p.m. followed by the National Anthem. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Toastmaster Madhu, for reading the MOM. Any objection raised or any amendments proposed? Since there are no amendments proposed, any objection raised, I hereby consider MOM number 1340 accepted and open meeting number 1341. We all love ads, right? Especially women. They talk about the face cream, body cream, heel cream, hair cream. I don't know how many creams women can buy and use it. Now this is something what I heard from one of my trainees. How does this whole process start? There will be a lot of market research companies which take data from the market about a particular product when a company approaches them. So for example, a Dove soap company approaches the market research, they will go ahead and understand what is the product, what target is the audience they have, or what is the buyer or consumer they are targeting at. What is their income level, age level, skin issues, health issues. They take all the data, give to the company. They make a product according to that. Once the product is made, you can't keep it in the factory. What do you need to do that? Market it. And how do you market it? Every woman has, I would not tell every woman, but if you talk about 99.99, it goes to every woman itself. For that 0.01%, I cannot tell anything. So for that, every woman, they target one thing. Oh, you want to look younger. Oh, you do not have that very beautiful hair. Your skin is looking really dull. There's something bad with your hands. We have the cream, we have the soap for that. That is how we are targeted. And then they make a need, want over there where it is unnecessary to have a thing. That's when the marketing companies market their product. And once the product is marketed over there, they get the sales what they have in mind. The Dove company would have given this particular contract to a marketing firm over there, advertising firm, that this is the target what we have. You need to reach that people. So once that is done and the sales come up, the profits come up, that is when the whole process of the product gets over in the first round. All of us have heard about Dove soap, right? There's no one in India who doesn't know Dove soap. Even a person living in slum will also use a Dove soap now. It's not like only for a particular bench of society, the cream of society is there. It's there for everyone. This is what the numbers and the story play. When you want numbers, you need to tell a story for it. And when you need a story, you need numbers behind it. When you tell a story, and how does numbers come into picture there? If someone comes to me and tells, Latha, you want a glowing skin, use this cream, use foundation. To be very honest, I still don't know how to use a lipstick. I do not put anything on my face. This is my original color. I just use a Cetaphil cream on my face and my body. Other than that, nothing. So for me, these acts don't work. But you go to someone over there and tell, your skin is a little patchy, you have little pimples, a little shaded up and down. This is some tricks people have used on me. I don't have money to give for all that. If you wanted to give me free, I don't mind. I will donate it to someone because I can't spoil my skin over here. But there are people, they target these kind of people over there and then they sell the product. This is how numbers and stories work. You target, tell a story, achieve a target, again tell a story, achieve a target. This is how numbers and story work together. This is not for telling something that is bad to think good about your skin, but everyone has their own mentality. But I would give a suggestion, something off the track over here. Do not use chemicals until and unless it's required. Do the exercise, drink plenty of water, be stress-free. You will not require any of the cosmetics, and the amount of you spend, majority of women spend something in 5-digit figures every month for the cosmetics, makeup, lipstick, I don't know what and all they call it. Instead of that, save on something, put it in equity, put it in SIP, anything, you get a lot of amount after 5-10 years, which we can use it for better things. So for all the women over here, think and then buy makeup, I would say that. Do not go with the stories and do not go with the numbers. Be confident, your confidence should show on your face anytime. That's how we women are. Now, at this juncture, I would like to stop my presidential address and I want to introduce the person who gave this theme. The moment I came to know this is the theme we have, I first went and Googled it. I never understood anything what it is, to be very honest. Then someone in the group wrote, please explain the theme in 2 to 3 sentences. Then I got it. Yes, because this person, whenever he gives the theme, grey cells, white cells, black cells, red, black, how many cells I have in my brain, the president, whoever is going to give the presidential address behind the lectern, has to use all the cells over there and start thinking. The person is the CEO of Loggers Business Systems India Private Limited. He wants to turn his company into a big big MNC company. One of the speakers whom we always admire who comes behind the lectern, which is voice quality. Once he comes behind the lectern, you all will understand why I'm telling this sentence. And his hobbies and interests include reading and cooking. With a huge round of applause, let's welcome Toastmaster of the Toastmaster Prashant.
Good evening, Toastmasters, and welcome guests.
Good evening.
Welcome to the evening of stories, smiles, and a little bit of nervous speeches. Don't worry, you don't need to know a Pythagoras theorem to participate in this meeting. This is easier than a 8th standard maths. This title today, The Dance Between Story and Numbers, it was inspired by an author, Ashwath Damodaran, in his book Narratives and Numbers. He says that stories give wings to your dreams, and numbers give dreams with landing gear. If numbers alone are presented, it is an Excel sheet, a long Excel sheet, where even the Google sheet says, bro, stop it. Or if it is about stories, it will have a PPT presentation with lot of drama without a data. When both stories and numbers go together, that's where the magic happens. Take Elon Musk. He says, we can travel to Mars. We can live in Mars. But also, he backs it up with the launching data. He backs it up with cost curve. He backs it up with reusable rockets. So that's where passion, connects with precision. Even in Toastmasters, the speeches and stories wins our heart, but it is the grammarian, accounter, who say that the numbers have the last word. Way back in 1924, to ensure to bring in more leaders and public speakers, Ramsey Smedley started this Toastmaster movement. This was started in YMCA Santa Ana, California. Started with just one club. Today it has more than 270,000 members, with more than 14,200 clubs in 148 countries. To start this meeting, to run this meeting, I have few role takers. As I call upon them, I request the Toastmasters to tell about their role. Let me start with today's PP Evaluator, Toastmaster Darshan.
Good evening, Toastmasters.
for today. So as the TP for today, I request you all to keep your phones on silent mode and refrain from speaking about sensitive topics such as sex, religion and politics. And avoid crosstalks during speeches and enter and exit you all only during applause. So I request you all to follow these guidelines and I'll give my report at the end of the meeting.
Thank you. I call upon today's accountant Toastmaster Sachin.
So good evening everyone. I'll be the accountant for today. So sometimes while we speak we don't get the flow that we want. So we tend to use filler words such as and sometimes we even pause and use repeated words. So I'll be making a note of all of these filler words used and I'll give my report at the end of the day.
Thank you. Now I call upon today's timer Toastmaster Abhijit.
Good evening fellow Toastmasters and guests. As a timer, I'll time the table topic speakers, formal speeches and evaluations. I'll also alert each speaker of the time they have crossed by raising the green flag, green card, yellow card and red card. For table topic speaker, time allotted is 1 to 2 minutes. After 1 minute, I'll raise green card. At 1 minute 30 seconds, I'll raise yellow card. At 2 minutes, I'll raise the red card. For prepared speeches, time allotted is 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I'll raise green card. At 6 minutes, I'll raise yellow card. At 7 minutes, I'll raise red card. For individual evaluations, time allotted is 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll raise green card. At 2 minutes 30 seconds, I'll raise yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I'll raise red card. I'll give my final report during general evaluation. Thank you.
Now I call upon Grammarian Toastmaster Ujwal.
Namaste fellow Toastmasters, fabulous friends and familiar faces. As the grammarian for the day, I will be making note of the good usages and the not so good usages of every speaker who takes upon the lecture. I will also be introducing the word of the day, which is aspiration, which means a strong desire or hope or ambition to achieve something meaningful or significant. To use this in a sentence, my aspiration was to become a confident speaker. That's why I joined Toastmasters. I would like to encourage all of you to use the word of the day in your presence on the lectern and will be delivering my report when called upon by the general evaluator. Thank you and back to you.
A typical Toastmaster meeting consists of 3 sessions. The first is the prepared speech session, wherein the speakers prepare based on the guidelines and come and speak here for 5 to 7 minutes. And the second session is the table topic session, wherein given a topic, the speakers have to come and spontaneously speak on the topic for 1 or 2 minutes. And third session is the evaluation, where the entire proceedings of the meeting is evaluated. Okay, so now let's begin our first session, the prepared speech session. This is where our speakers spend days and nights in crafting their message. So they would have rehearsed in front of a mirror or rehearsed in front of a confused pet. So, in my beginning statement, I said nervous speeches, but today's speakers, you will see, they are not nervous, they will make audience nervous. So dear Toastmasters and guests, fasten your seats. So this is going to be a wonderful evening. So let's begin our first speaker. Let's call upon our first speaker. He is attempting level 1 project 4 dynamic leadership titled TBT. I request the individual evaluator Toastmaster Shuba to read the guidelines.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests present. The title of the speech is You Have to Make Many Tries to Get Your Job Done. It's mentioned on the sheet, so just informing. The speaker is attempting level 1 project 4. The purpose of this project is to practice applying feedback and serve as a speech evaluator during a club meeting. The purpose of this speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Notes for the evaluator. If you know you will be the evaluator ahead of the meeting, communicate with the speaker to learn about them and their goals for their first evaluation and feedback project speech. Be sure to set aside enough time in your schedule to meet with the speaker after their speech to review the evaluation and answer any questions they may have. The member has spent time writing a speech to present at a club meeting. About this speech, the member will deliver a well-organized speech on any topic. Focus on the member's speaking style. Be sure to recommend improvements that the member can apply to the next speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. The member will ask you to evaluate their second speech at a future meeting. Thank you. All the best to the speaker.
The speaker is done his electrical engineering. He is a director of a 50-year-old organization called Syscon Instruments. Recently, the chief of UN, he complained all the countries that no countries are really working on climate control. This speaker is a great environmentalist, and he is very conscious about greenery. Please put your hands together and welcome Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa.
The Director of Medical Education, which I am talking, is from Tamil Nadu. Not only is a doctor, but also an IAS officer. You know the IAS officer's room will be there, huge room, well air conditioned, better atmosphere. He was sitting in a big chair. I was standing like a beggar in front of him. I was standing like a beggar. He became very angry and furious. He called the security man and said, "This man, in spite of warning not to come and see me again, he is coming on third day. Please throw him outside and tell him not to come here." He threatened me when I went there to beg some help from him. Like a beggar, I came, bent my head and came out. My dear Toastmasters, welcome guests. This incident occurred in Chennai way long back. I'm married to a doctor who has done MBBS in Tirunelveli Medical College. She did her course in a fantastic way. She came first. After graduating herself in MBBS, she was working in a rural area. Due to God's grace, or I am from Andhra border, somehow the marriage took place. It is a big story which I don't want to touch now. The marriage took place. So after marriage, she came back to Bangalore. She going to the job and serving in the medical field has become a rare and coming, it's disappeared. So after marriage, God has blessed me with a daughter. So that stopped her attending to her work in Tamil Nadu medical services. Then when we sat and decided, why should we start our own nursing home? Why should we start? I had a confidence, I had a courage, I have a conviction, but money was not there. That was not required. If you have a confidence, 50% of the job is done. Somehow, we started a nursing home. Before starting a nursing home, she made a request with me, I need to upgrade my graduation. Yeah, what she said was this thing. I encouraged her, why don't you write an exam? It is called Diploma in Gynecology or MD. Before going for exam, I said, you might have forgotten all the subject by this time. Why don't you take up a tuition, go to Chennai, stay there for 1 month or 15 days and take up the exam and coaching and refresh on this thing. The woman from doesn't listen to the man's advice. She went there and failed. Again I told her, you try once again. You are not lost a thing. Try once again. If you try once again, definitely you will succeed. She went to Chennai, she took some classes and she was able to get a seat in DGO seat in Stanley Medical College, which is one of the best institutions in the medical field in this country. After passing the DGO, she has to go and report to the college. For reporting to the college, she needs a relieving certificate from the Director of Medical Education. So, like what I talked to IAS officers and minister here, I said, sir, I am very glad my wife has got a DGO seat. Kindly give the relieving letter. What? You want relieving letter? She is not coming for the job from past 1.5 years. How can I relieve her? I will not do that. Sir, kindly consider my request. What? How dare enough you can speak to the Director of Medical Education? Do you think this is Karnataka? You can't speak like to an IAS officer like this. Sir, kindly consider. What consideration? No consideration. Sir, I will come and meet you person. Don't come and disturb me. You warned me. So I with the great courage, I took up night bus and went there. My wife was unable to come because she was having a baby in the house. I went and stood in front of the office. Good morning, sir. What good morning? I told you not to come. Why are you appearing here? What shall I do? I am a beggar then. What shall I do? A beggar cannot be a choose or anything. So I stood there. Somehow I will get a job done because this is a golden opportunity which I don't want to lose. This is the lifetime opportunity which I don't want to lose. He came out for a lunch. Sir, I told you not to disturb me. So one day I went. Then next day came. I was also wandering there and I was scratching my head what methodology I have to apply to get my job done. Because I don't leave the job easily like that one. I was wandering there, couldn't get anything. Third day also I went, then nothing was going on. Then I thought, why should not have a cup of coffee in the canteen? Lot of doctors were there, they're discussing together. I thought, why I should not go and tell them? When you cannot solve your problem, ask others. Ask is the only way to get your job done. But when to ask, what to ask, how to ask is most important. I went and introduced myself to the group of doctors there. Sir, I am from Karnataka. Kindly help me. It is for my wife. Have you brought your wife? No, sir. Then one young, beautiful doctor stood up and said, I will try, my dear sir. The way you put forth your this thing, I wanted to do something. Wait for something. Wait for some time. She went inside. When I call you, please come. She went there and gave the signal to come there. So I don't know what misprice she did it. He gave the letter enabling her to join for the diploma in gynecology, that to one of the prestigious colleges. It was the happiest moment for her. It was the happiest. Here I would like to say, when you fail in one attempt, don't abruptly abandon and go there. If you have a conviction with you, almost 75% of the job is done. For Abraham Lincoln, defeat was a detour, not dead end. But your methodology, your achievement should be of the good nature, not the crooked ideas will not work, my dear friends. Manyavar, this is the secret of life. Keep your health fit, have good ideas in you, make many tries, definitely you will achieve in your lifetime. Thank you very much.
It was an energetic speech. So now we move to the second speech So this second speaker is attempting level 3 elective project planning innovative. Title Estabank. So I request the individual evaluator Toastmaster Raja to read the guidelines.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. Notes for the evaluator: the member completing this project is focusing on using stories in a speech or creating a speech that is a story. The member may use any type of story, personal, well-known fiction, or her own creation. I will listen for a well-organized speech that is a story or it includes a story, and I will give my evaluation when called upon. All the best to the speaker.
Thank you. This speaker is done a diploma in counseling skills from Banjara Academy. She is working as a HR manager at Infocom. Please put your hands together and welcome the energetic Toastmaster Jyothi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Prashant. We shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome someday. Deep in our heart, we do believe we shall overcome someday. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
The children were playing when they saw the dark, slinky bulge approach through the sea. As it hit the shore, they gleefully played with it, burying it in sand and digging it out of it again. Someone passing by saw the children play with the weird thing and screamed in alarm. It was a small village on an island made up with odd wood, small houses, stone courtyard and no flowers. Men went to the sea to do for fishing and women tended at home. And when they had nothing much to do, which was quite often, they would sit and gossip or doze off under the sky. Hearing the scream, they rushed to the shore. They shooed away the children and stood staring down at the huge line form. One of them removed a clump of seaweed and jellyfish tentacles. They saw a drowned man. Anxious, they looked at one another to see if anyone was missing. Relieved they were all present, the men hurried to the nearby village to inquire of any missing person. Meanwhile, the women tended and cleaned the drowned man. They used swabs of grass to wipe away the mud. They picked out the stones from the tangled hair. When they cleaned and tidied him, they saw his true form, and it left them breathless. For he was the most handsome, beautiful, strong man they had ever seen. He bore his death with pride. There was no traces of haggardness, neediness, or loneliness on his face, like many of the other drowned men. Fascinated, the women decided to give his death dignity. They patched his torn clothes with bridal linen and sewed his shoes with pieces of sailcloth. As they stitched, they paused, they gazed at him and whispered among themselves. If he was one amongst us, his house would have broad doors, high ceiling, and flows which would be strong. The other one said, with his strength, he would have worked hard to dig deep into the rocks for the waters to flow and would have planted flowers on the cliff. The third one said, with his strength, with his authority, he would have drawn the fishes just by calling in their names. Young women looked at him and their hearts stirred, secretly comparing him with their own men. A maze of fantasy. They wandered through a maze of fantasy. The oldest of the women, more with compassion than with passion, said, he shall be called Esteban. The villagers, the men, exhausted, came in and announced, he does not belong to any of the nearby village. Listening to this, the women wept so much, for in their grief, they found a strange joy. Esteban is ours. He is the gift from the sea. The men, annoyed with them for their devotion to the stranger, muttered, so much of wastage of time and fabric for the stranger. The older woman removed the handkerchief that was covering his face slowly, and when they looked at him, they kept silent. For there was so much of nobleness, so much of calmness on his face, as if he carried his responsibilities, his burden, without any complaint. Esteban's presence was so much real that they were in awe of him. And so together decided to have the grandest of funeral for Esteban. They searched far and wide in the village for flowers and more of ferns and leaves to decorate, to adorn him. A couple came forward and said, we are Esteban's father and mother. We will be Esteban's father and mother. Another couple came forward and said, we are his uncle and aunt. And so much more couples came forward. And then the children and the youth screamed together, we are Esteban's cousins. By the time the entire village was his family. And when it was time to take him to the sea, back to the sea, it pained for them to say that he would be no more. Then onwards, everything changed in the village. They built houses with wider door, higher ceiling, stronger floor for Esteban's spirit to remain. Men dug deep into the rocks till water came out and flowers blossomed. And when the sailors passed by, they inhaled for the fragrance of the flowers and saw the beautiful flowers and said with pride, over there, that is Esteban's village. Dear friends, every soul, every situation, past or present, helps us to move forward. And as we break our shackles, a deep melody comes from within. Deep in our heart, we do believe I have overcome today. Thank you, and back to
you. We come to the end of the first session, the prepared speech session. Now we go to the next session, that is the table topic session. This is where our brave Toastmasters think on their feet, sometimes even freeze on them. Let's welcome our table topic master, who will lead this dance of spontaneity with flair and fun. So to conduct this session, we have a table topic master who has done her engineering in mechanical, and as you know, for any company, sales is important. That's where everything begins. So she's been leading the sales for the real estate firm for the last 11 years. And her hobbies have been yoga, meditation, and also reading books. Please put your hands together and welcome Toastmaster Deepa.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Prashant, for wonderful introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
We often try so hard to avoid mistakes. Is it? Yes? Yeah. When we look back, some of our best lessons, biggest growth, and funniest stories come from the times we messed up. So today's session, let's celebrate the beauty of being imperfect and see how our mistakes have shaped our journeys, our humor, and our wisdom. In the interest of guests, I would like to explain how table topic session works. A table topic session where the speaker will be chosen on spot and given the topic on spot, and we will give 1 to 2 minutes to speak about the topic, and our timer will show the green card at 1 minute, 1 minute 30 seconds, our timer will show yellow card, and at 2 minutes our timer will show red card. Without much delay, let's start our first topic. What's the biggest lesson you have learned from a mistake? And this goes to Toastmaster Madhusudhan.
So the year was 2016. I had just fallen down the stairs in my college. I'd broken my ankle. I was sidelined for a month. And I was in a cast. I got better, but I was wearing a compression sock. And all my best friends, they wanted to go trek Madhugiri Betta. That's around 100 kilometers from here, and I did not want to miss out, and I also went with them. I lied at home saying I'm going to a friend's house, and I left early in the morning. We went, we trekked, everything. Surprisingly, I didn't have any pain. We came down, but it was a Sunday and the buses were packed. And it just takes 2.5 hours to come back to Bangalore. But we got on a bus. It was only standing, there were no seats. And we thought, okay, we'll get off at this place called Dapaspet, and from there we can take a train back. And we did do that. But to our folly, it started raining. And in that rain, we just had to walk to the train station because we thought we might miss the train. And there we get to know that the train is an hour late. And I'm getting calls from home, where are you, what are you doing, it's been so long since you've gone. But I just had to keep lying, make something up. And the train eventually came, and my friends, we all sat together. And I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get blasted at home, this was such a mistake. And one of my best friends, I don't know if he's a learned man, but he said there are no mistakes. Everything is a learning experience, everything's an adventure. So for your topic, I'd like to say that I haven't learned anything major from a mistake, but it is just that you need to keep making mistakes to learn from them, because without making mistakes, you don't improve in life. And I'd like to end on this note. I'm a big basketball fan, and I don't know if many of you know, Michael Jordan is considered the greatest basketball player. And he has a quote which says something like, I have missed 9,000 shots in my life, I have lost over 300 games, some 20 times I have gotten the ball in a game-winning situation, I've made mistakes and I've failed over and over, and that is why I succeed. So keep making mistakes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Madhusudhan, for sharing the train experience. We'll move on to the next topic. Tell us about a funny moment that always makes you laugh. Tell us about a funny moment that always makes you laugh. This goes to Toastmaster Aadishwar.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. So, a funny moment, right? So, being in boys' college, there are various funny moments you created and I've created. So, one of the funny moments I would like to share is, being in boys' college, there are numerous pranks you do every day. Sometimes those pranks just end in laughter, but sometimes the other way around. Someone cries, someone gets hurted, or you are in the verge of getting suspended. So recently, so we had a rural camp exposure, 3 days in Nelmangla. The college takes us. So now the full class is going, we all are excited. And just being in boys college, we planned something that once everyone sleeps, all the teachers sleeps, we'll do something at the night. So first day we didn't do anything. First day because they made us exercise, they made us work in the rural, taking the bricks away and all. So first day we were tired, we slept. Second day we planned, no, today we have to do something, or else how will we remember this camp? So 10 o'clock it was lockdown, like lights off and you have to sleep. If any noise comes, the teacher comes by. But we were quite smart so that we won't make any noise and we have to do something. So 10:30 we come out of our rooms. All the lights switched off and so we planned, what do we do? Till 5 to 10 boys go to the kitchen. They start searching something, they start having something in the kitchen. 5 to 10 boys just roam around the campus. This campus was in Nelmangla, rural area, no noise, just like a village. Some birds, bats and all sounds were coming. So 5-10 boys, to prank others, making ghost stories and trying to scare the other boys. And the the other boys around, like the mysterious, naughty ones. So we planned, see, if one gets caught, everyone will get caught. So no one should get caught. And one thing we did, we locked the teacher's room. But some boys being more notorious than us, we planned we'll just lock it and we'll do whatever we want. But those notorious boys, they went to the teacher's door, they knocked at the teacher's door and they ran away. Now the teacher is knocking at his door. Open the door, open the door. The door is locked outside. And now we are wondering, what do we do? So we planned, we'll open the door and we'll run away. So 10 boys opening the door and we ran like we are running a 100-meter sprint. So we go back to our rooms and the teacher was just near the door. He just follows us. That scene was like, how can I explain? We go to our rooms, shawls and all that. The shawls are flying and the teacher is just seeing us. Like, what are you guys doing? And being boys, none of us opened our eyes. Like, sir, we were just sleeping, we just pretended to sleep. He started phoning in Kannada, something and all, he started telling. None of us opened our eyes. He's like, I'll see you in the morning. So, morning we thought he'll forget. But we didn't realize they had night vision cameras. Morning he shows us this camera recording. He's like, you all will be taken to principal. And then that funny story turned out to be very close that we would have got suspended. Because we boys just locked the door. But the other boys had done something and all in the kitchen, which I cannot share right now. So yeah, that funny story turned out to be a very close story that would get a black mark on our names. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Aadishwar, for sharing a good college memory. We'll move on to the next topic. Do you think mistakes make us wiser or weaker? Do you think mistakes make us wiser or weaker? This goes to Toastmaster Rachana.
I think long term they make you wiser. I mean, if you don't learn from them, you have to repeat it again. So one crucial mistake and one crucial lesson I learned was that I had just moved to a new city and I had actually completed my graduation from my master's degree, and I had applied for an internship role and I was called for the interview. And because I was so new to the city, I had allocated so much of time for getting to that interview with a lot of time, getting ahead of time there, so I can go freshen up, etc. And this was New York City, so the subway lines there are notoriously complex. There are for any given station there are a million trains that come and go through it, and there are million stops, and you take the wrong train and you can end up a million miles away from where you wanted to be. So there I go. I didn't know that. I knew it was complex, but I just never understood the depth of the complexity and how lost you could get. And so, as you might have guessed, I got lost. I took the train in the wrong direction, and I didn't end up getting to the interview on time. I called up the interviewer and I said, "Look, this is the situation. Can I attend?" And they were like, "No, you're late. You can't go back." So after that, I was, as you can expect, quite sad and disappointed. One crucial lesson I learned from that was to expect the unexpected, to always plan for, to always have some sort of a contingency, and to always plan for things not going according to plan. Yeah, that's my take on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rachana, for sharing. I mean, everybody would have faced that issue. I think personally, I also faced the same issue. Let's move on to the next session, the next topic. Have you ever made a mistake that turned out to be a blessing? Have you ever made a mistake that turned out to be a blessing? This goes to Toastmaster Midhun.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The topic is like mistakes that
Turn out to be a blessing.
So, I'm a physiotherapist, basically treat people. So I come across a lot of cases. When initial days of my career, I used to make a lot of mistakes, thinking that what we learned in the book is what need to be applied always. But after making a lot of mistakes by doing that, I understood that is not the way it works, and then we have to see how the symptoms works, and accordingly we need to change, and we need to change the treatment plan, not as per the book. Because books, what they have written is by seeing a lot of studies which many people have come across by experience, and then writing the papers and then doing. But later what happens is I think still we have not understood the human body to full extent, so we need to keep changing. So mistake is what I made my treatment system. I've changed as per my the result which I get it from the patients. I started changing. That changed my all result from patients and the treatment. So mistakes always makes us learn better and change. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Midhun. Doctors never do mistake, what I think, because it will be a patience. Okay, we'll move on to our next topic, which is, have you ever learned more from failure than success? Have you ever learned more from failure than success? This goes to Toastmaster Ujwal.
A mistake that cost me 5 lakh rupees. The first time Lam Research India conducted a hackathon, our team was not the first to register. In the second round, we were late by 2 hours in our submission, and we were panicking. The submission was online. They were somewhere else. We were in our college the night before Deepa 2024. And then we check our mails, and there was a blessing inside. The submission has been postponed to the day after Deepavali. And then we sat the entire night of Deepavali and worked our project, submitting it. And we were thrilled, happy. And we had two horns on our head telling, hey, that's easy, we can achieve anything we want. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the mistake that we made. Qualifying to the third round, being in the top 6, made the horns grow longer. And this time, we were faced with the challenge of building robotic arms to move CDs from one stack to another stack. The challenge, we had just 2 business days, 16 hours. With these big horns on our head, we thought, well, that's going to be easy. We already know programming. We already know how to assemble things. We got started. Not reading into the guidelines that was given to us. Not thoroughly scrutinizing the material that we had. Ending up making a subpar prototype. And in the end, screwing up even our presentation. The first place was a 5 lakh cash prize. The second place was a 2.5 lakh cash prize. And the third place was 1 lakh. And we landed in the 4th place, which was the only thing that could have taken down those horns atop our heads. And that mistake is what I believe is shaping me to be the man today. To understand that despite having everything in my hands, just the overconfidence can break everything. Do you agree with me? Not. What do you say?
Thank you so much, Ujwal. One mistake, lost 5 lakh rupees. Let's move on to our next topic. Share a story where a mistake led you to something amazing. Share a story where mistake led you to something amazing. This goes to Toastmaster U Bhat.
Madam Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. Many years back, when I was working in Mecca, those were the days of physical money transactions. I got shares in physical forms. I had shares in Reliance and TCS and last one in Tugro. And all they were coming by post, all the checks and all. And I have got the habit of carrying the briefcase to office every day. And many of these checks which come on this, I put it and once in a week or something, I go and deposit in the bank because of my laziness. So one day I was returning with my briefcase from the office and was having some 3-4 checks or something. Those days 3,000-4,000 rupees checks was a big thing at that time, about 30 years back, 34 years back. And on the way in the auto, I saw somebody was selling watermelons, very juicy, and one fellow had even cut it open and it was reddish. I don't know how they make it look so red because actually inside is not that red. So ultimately, I was tempted. So I went and bought that watermelon and I put it in the auto and came home. And when at the auto stopped at my home, I coolly that watermelon. I took very proudly. I wanted to present to my wife. I went and said, "Would I see what I got?" She said, "Very good. Oh, where's your briefcase?" Then I came running out to the road and saw that auto fellow had fled. Not because of the design, because he did not know this was fine there. There was real panic because some 10,000 rupees checks those days was a big thing for me. Some 35-40 years back. So we went around with all the auto drivers, everybody we caught in the whole night up to 11 o'clock in the night. I suffered, caught, but somehow I could not get that my briefcase nor the checks back. One thing I realized was my biggest mistake was always, not only in this but in all my aspects, different. Penny wise and pound foolish. So lesson which I learned was always concentrate on what is really important, what is really valuable, and less of the thing. Don't be wasting your time on these little things. So I was somehow attracted with this watermelon, and in the process I lost something very big. And I never could get that money back because it was a very long process, physically writing to Reliance, Larsen Dobro, finding with the check, all those things. Only TCS I could get my money back. Other things I have still not got it. Anyway, now it's a long forgotten story. But this is the lesson, that always never be penny wise and pound foolish. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster everyone.
A small correction is distinguished Toastmaster.
We'll move on to our next topic. What's one mistake you will never forget and why? What's one mistake you will never forget and why? This goes to Toastmaster Darshan.
The fact that I am thinking too much means I have already forgotten about it. Let me think here. Okay. We all make mistakes, but before getting into what mistake I did, I need to clarify what a mistake really is. There are mistakes which we make knowingly and mistakes which we don't know. But after making something, we realize that it is a mistake. My main mistake is not always arguing with my parents when they tell me something good for myself, for my good self. But after 5-10 minutes, I realized that I should have not argued with them so much that it ruined the atmosphere of my house for the entire day. So thinking back, I need to work on arguing less when someone says something which I don't like, which is in benefit of me. So I also request you all not to argue too much with your parents or your elder selves, because they have seen more than you. And back to table.
Thank you, Toastmaster Darshan. I always remember this movie dialogue. A trouble troubles you, trouble troubles you. So mistakes you mistake. So this sentence I remember. And thank you so much all the speakers for your wonderful thoughts and wonderful words. And thank you so much. I'll hand over back to Toastmaster Prashant.
Today, I think our table topic master gave such a wonderful topic that everyone came here and spoke bravely. No one froze. So I think based on the topic, I feel that not only the table topic wanted to become wiser, she wanted the entire participant or the audience to be wiser. So we know what is the outcome from mistakes and what is the pros and cons. So we now take a 10 minutes break and 5 minutes break, and we come back for our third session, that is evaluation session. So I welcome you all back. I hope you are all refreshed and prepared to take notes from the evaluation session. So to conduct this session, we have DTM who is the third president of this club. He has mentored many clubs and many Toastmasters in his journey. I refer him as one of the strong protagonists of this Toastmaster movement from his immense contribution. He's done his engineering in electrical subject, and he's been working at He was working at Macon as head of electrical and automation, and he is retired now as joint general manager. Please put your hands together and welcome DTM A.K. Prabhakara.
Thank you, Toastmasters Prashant, for that proper and square introduction. And I was president of this club perhaps 26 or 27 years, or even so many years ago, maybe 1999, 2000. It was a long time back. And second president is still there. And one of the, both of us talk to each other when we see, we are like, we think ourselves as antique of the club, antiques of this club. So we are there. That's it. Thank you very much for the introduction. The meeting started a bit late, 6:25 to be precise, 6:27 to be precise. But we have made up time now, and how we made up we'll come to know when the time manager reports here. Let's start with the evaluation of the first two speeches. We'll dive into that. The first of the speeches today was evaluated by Toastmaster Shuba. The speech was by Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa. Please welcome Toastmaster Shuba for the evaluation.
Very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests present.
Good evening. Good evening.
And a special good evening to target speaker Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa. To start off, I think I can and all of us in this room can learn from Toastmaster Veerabhadra's speech about the courage of conviction in his voice. So bold, and he made such impactful statements that really stick in the brain. Moving on, the use of volume in his speech and the vocal variety was incredible. We could make out the difference between when the IAS officer was speaking versus him immediately, and just the range of voices experimented with was really inspiring for me. And lastly, stage presence as well. He really moved around the stage, and that was also a very powerful stage presence. Now coming to a few suggestions which can be worked upon. Towards the second half of the speech, I noticed that you were only focused on this side of the stage. So maybe you can also come to the other side. The left side of the stage seemed a little like abandoned. So maybe a balanced stage presence could make the speech more impactful, and also maintaining that eye contact, looking at everybody in the audience throughout your speech would have made it even more impactful. Secondly, the use of pauses. While I really loved the statement upon statement that was very impactful, maybe a few pauses could make it even more impactful. For example, Abraham Lincoln said, "Defeat was the detour, not the dead end." And then when you pause, it takes the audience also a minute for it to sink in, and then you can move on to the next statement. Thirdly, the introduction, I felt that you directly jumped into a story, but I couldn't sort of imagine the scene. So maybe a statement that sets the scene could hook the audience, and then you can talk about the rest of the story and give a little bit and then dive into the speech. Or maybe you can also introduce the opening with one statement that is the message of the speech and then dive into the story. Because I felt that suddenly there was an IAS officer and you were begging him, and then I couldn't quite imagine what was happening. So that could be an introduction. And fourthly, I think you could keep your hands free, because maybe holding an object like a pen would restrict the gestures. So that's just one point. And to challenge yourself, along with the vocal variety, you can also enact the characters and maybe stand on one side to depict one character and the other side to depict the other character. So then this will take that vocal variety to the next level, and it'll become an amazing speech by the end. So that's all for the evaluation. Thank you.
That was a complete evaluation. In all respects, it was covered. I was wondering whether Toastmaster Shuba will mention the major flaw. Major flaw means, I don't call it flaw, but it's some kind of a obviously noticeable kind of thing. That is, he was addressing Aadishwar. I thought Aadishwar at one point of time he was scared. Aadishwar, the moment he raised his voice, Aadishwar was going. So anyway, that settled the issue, but he could scare the people, ladies on that side also. Why he was partial to this side, I could really make it. So this is a lesson for you, how to be lucky. He was asking how to be humorous. I said this is how to pick it up. That's one example I'll give you right away. Okay, so said and done, all said and done, the way she evaluated, she pointed out where he excelled, what's the weakness he can overcome, what he should challenge upon. All was in place as an evaluator, and that gives kind of a guidance to the speaker to really fix those things and give the next speech incorporating those things. It is something like we have feedback. The purpose of feedback is to feed forward for the next speech and incorporate. And for that excellent speech and lovely evaluation, let's give a very, very good round of applause to both the evaluator. The next speech by Toastmaster Jyothi was evaluated by Toastmaster Prasad. Toastmaster Prasad, please.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
First of all, congratulations to Toastmaster Jyothi for completing her project. I know this got scheduled 4 times, but finally you have completed it today. So congratulations on that. Now, Toastmaster Jyothi, what I liked about your speech, the first one is the body language and voice modulation. The way that you acted throughout your entire speech, and your voice went up and down when you're doing the characters. I like that very much. When you said, he shall be called Esteban, or the women wept, or when you said, over there, Esteban's village, your voice raised, your hand movements, all of that came up really good. You started your speech with a song that created an intrigue. Everybody was looking at you. What is she going to say? And you ended your speech coming back as a circle with the song. So I like that particular circle technique that you have used. In terms of the story, there was a flow in the story, and you shared the sequence of events. Where the sequence of events happened, you shared that flow was good. These are the things that I liked in your speech. Now, the areas that you can improve upon. So, as a story, you need to have story elements. For example, who is the main character of your story? Now, Esteban is your main character, right? But Esteban died already. Is he the main character? Or you have a kid who has seen the Esteban. He is the main character who is narrating this particular story. Now, why should we care for Esteban? Esteban is a handsome man, died in the sea, so does that connect? Or Esteban died by saving a child. Now, which one does it connect? Which one creates that empathy in the audience for you to empathize with your character Esteban? Alright? Now the next one is stakes. What are the stakes in your story? Stakes is like the engine of your story, right? Then when we had the first speaker, when he was speaking, the stakes was that whether he will get that work done or not. We are with him, you know, that he is begging, he wants to know whether it will be done or not. So there needs to be some kind of stakes in the story that will add more hook to the audience. Now, there was what is the change that has happened, right? The villagers had small rooms, low ceilings. After seeing him, they had high ceilings, broad doors. You need to have that. What is the change that has happened? What is the impact that has happened? He has brought in, they changed because he lost his life doing something good. From that, they became like that. What is, you need to bring in some clarity on that change the villagers had. Every story needs to have a change, so that would be good. And what is the moral of the story? You need to bring more clarity to the moral of your story, because you said every moment, past or present, help us move forward. So you need to bring more clarity. How does this story connect with your audience takeaway for the message? All in all, it was what I really liked is your body language, voice modulation, and the sequence that you went with the flow of the story. The areas that you can work upon are the elements of a great story, how you can incorporate it. So to challenge yourself, I would say, like, you again rework on this story and then re-deliver this one with all these elements and see the impact that you will bring in.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raja Prasad, for that elaborate evaluation. He summed it up very well as far as what went right, and that pointed out the right way as far as weakness is concerned, what he should challenge upon as far as the evaluation is concerned. One thing I would like to really point out to the speaker is that when the voice was low, it was very low. Very, very low. That I thought he should have pointed out. It was very tough to latch on to those words when the voice modulation went down. It was there, modulation was in place, but the voice can be little louder so that the person sitting there can also hear the lower side of the voice, and the upper one was anyway, could be heard easily. This is one thing I just thought I should point out, because that is becoming a habit with you. I've been seeing that happening. You can watch your the video of your speech to find out whether it meets, it's really the kind of thing that we are trying to point out, I am trying to point out, or what is. But what stood out was the narration, the voice modulation, the body language, everything was in place. That seems to be becoming your strength all along as you move, and we are becoming more and more confident of giving speeches behind the lectern. And it showed the way when I think the lectern was moved and you felt really being with the audience. It was a wonderful speech, excellent evaluation. Let's give a thunderous round of applause to both speakers. Now I request all of you to fill up the ballot. The best speaker, evaluator, and table topic, you can fill it up so that your judgment is not prejudiced. So it's already done, you can fill it up.
On the panel. I would request everyone to refrain from crosstalks. There are a lot of crosstalks happening, which is becoming a little disturbance. So I would request everyone not to have a talk until and it's really necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, President, Chair of the meeting, for pointing it out. Now I request the TAPG role takers, starting with timer, Toastmaster Abhijit, to give his evaluation. Toastmaster Abhijit.
Good evening.
Please come.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. So today's meeting started at 6:25 p.m. Sergeant on arms took 3 minutes. President spoke for 5 minutes 55 seconds. Master of ceremony took 11 minutes 55 seconds. Table topic master took 22 minutes. For table topic speakers, I have written time on the board. Coming to prepared speeches, Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa took 7 minutes 20 seconds. Toastmaster Jyothi took 8 minutes 16 seconds. Time allotted for prepared speeches was 5 to 7 minutes. Coming to evaluations, Toastmaster Shuba took 3 minutes 56 seconds. Toastmaster Prashant took 3 minutes 38 seconds. Time allotted was 2 to 3 minutes. So tea break extended till 8 minutes 5 seconds. Time allotted was 5 minutes. Thank you so much.
It was precise and to the point. He didn't lose any time while evaluating at the whole time, managing the time. And in fact, he pointed out the time allotted versus time taken. That's one of the finest things you do. And table topics, if I noted that time, it was 23 minutes, allotted was 20 minutes. It's okay, but this is the way it went. So far we are in control of the time. And let's give a round of applause to Abhijit for keeping the time. Our counter, Toastmasters Sachin. Toastmasters Sachin.
Good evening everyone. So here's the report as the R counter. So one note is that certain names will be repeated twice. This is because they would have taken the role as well as they would have done the table topic. So now here is my report as the R counter. So Toastmaster Rachana 1 hour, Toastmaster Latha flawless, Toastmaster Prashant 3 hours, 1 repeated word so and 1 pause. Toastmaster Abhijit 2 hours, Toastmaster Ujwal flawless, Toastmaster Darshan flawless. Now coming to the prepared speeches, speaker number 1, Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa 1 hour, and his evaluator Toastmaster Shuba 8 hours. Then the second speaker, Toastmaster Jyothi, 1 repeated word and her evaluator Toastmaster Raja 1 hour. Now coming to the table topic speeches, Toastmaster Deepa 1 hour, Toastmaster Madhusudhan 1 repeated word and, Toastmaster Aadishwar 1 hour and 1 repeated word and, Toastmaster Rachana 2 hours and 1 Toastmaster Midhun 2 hours, Toastmaster Ujwal flawless, DTM and U Bhat 1 hour, Toastmaster Darshan 1 pause, and DTM AK Prabhakara flawless.
That was almost flawless. But one thing I want to point out as far as our counter is concerned, it's a general note. If it is 1, neglect. 2, repeat, neglect. 3, make a note. 4, point out. So you have to take an executive decision. These are all small roles it looks like, but it's a kind of leadership we are trying to prepare. You have to take a call. Should I point out or not point out? So if it's 1 or 2, neglect it. That means majority of thing, in majority there were no RMs if you take today's meeting. So that's how. And one thing that you missed was one person was repeatedly using you know, I know, you know, I know. You have missed it. I don't want to name it, but you have missed it. One person. You guess and tell me. Okay, I think the MC himself. Okay, so you have to be alert towards that. Anyway, he has done a sincere job. Let's give him a round of applause. Then we have parliamentary procedure evaluation, and that's by Darshan. Darshan, please.
As the VP, I noticed that the meeting was going well, but until the phones rang 2 times. That was during speech 1 and during table topics. During speech 1, even the phone rang, but I didn't feel any effect because of sir's powerful voice. I forgot about it in 5-10 seconds. And there was little crosstalks which should be avoided. So I request guests but I think it is from guests. But I request you all to keep your phones in silent, not vibrate mode. Keep it in silent. And there was no mention on any sensitive topics like sex, politics, and religion. And back to you.
Thank you, Toastmasters and Darshan, for certifying that meeting went well. It was in place. And as regard the crosstalk, why we point out not to talk crosstalk while the speaker is on is that speaker may forget his lines. They'll have prepared so much. So we should give that kind of a ambience for him or her so that she succeeds. All the audience is, the expectation should be making the speaker right behind the lectern a successful person as far as the speeches are concerned. So to that extent, we should be really holding him up with all due respect. That's the point. And he did a wonderful job. Give him a special round of applause. Only point I want to point out, Darshan, just feel this way, that you should be heard. You should be heard not by yourself to your own ears, just like that. It's very short distance. But for the person sitting there, so you should be speaking louder, addressing to the last person. Madhusudhan is exhausted already, but he should be heard. When you speak, for example, when Veerabhadrappa speaks, nobody can keep the eyes closed. That's the way your goal should be like that. Our Raja speaks, it should be everybody keeps eyes open. Okay, that's the goal. So, fantastic job done. Now move on to the Grammarian Toastmaster Ujwal.
Namaste fellow Toastmasters, fabulous friends and familiar faces. I'm here with my report. Sadly, there has not been a single usage of the word of the day, that is aspiration. Moving ahead with the good usages, unboxing ourselves, passion needs precision, rehearsed in front of a confused pet, and something that is really beautiful is when you use 3 words consecutively to describe something. Beautiful, handsome, strong. Wider door, higher ceiling, stronger doors, stronger floors. And similarly, million trains, million stations, million miles. Courage of conviction of voice. Some of the not so good usages, there were quite a few, but here is a short summary. Many of us seem to be using the same word repeatedly. Many becomes a lot. Very good round of applause becomes a thunderous round of applause. A few more. What target is audience becomes who is the target audience. They make a need becomes they create a need. Fasten your seats becomes fasten your seat belts. Graduating herself becomes graduating. She is going to job becomes she started going to the job. Dare enough becomes dare you. Nobleness becomes nobility. And has a little crosstalks becomes there were a few crosstalks. That is my report, and back to the general evaluation.
Excellent. Nothing else to say. It was complete. Let's give him a thunderous round of applause. The meeting started with Sergeant at Arms. She kept a suspense as to what she is trying to say. And her voice also it has improved, but it could be louder. But the way she spoke, there was some suspense, holding the paper like this, what it could be. And she matched the theme, saying that number and the story, then turning the page. It was brilliantly done. Precise, to the point, but with a prop. So all Toastmasters can do for such wonderful expression, where words and the prop match, is a special thunderous round of applause. Next, the MOM was read out by Toastmaster Madhusudhan after President took over. He is always on the point, to the point. He does his job precisely and with precision, and he moves ahead. It is for the and that was really kind of supplemented by President asking in a pointed way whether it can be accepted or not. It was done. It was done in a very business-like manner, and for that, let's give Toastmaster Madhusudhan a round. He does an excellent job of posting the MOMs. Everything is in place. Always, he really enables and facilitates the things to move in the club. I want to make it a point to tell that. The President's speech was really marvelous. I would say she always comes up with an approach that is different. The only thing I don't want to really point out kind of thing that for improvement or that, not like that. While speaking, it's all right to move when you are a speaker, but when you are a president, you own the lectern or the chair. So you can be speaking from one single place behind the lectern. You are in position of command. So you should not leave the place. So normally that kind of thing is moving is done when something of a lecture is given. But here it is not. You are occupying a position of president, a location. So to that extent, I just want to point out, you did a remarkably good job. There are some very fine one-liners in your speech. And I always remember that you are a capable person, and Mechanic Club is in the safe hands as far as the president is concerned. Let's give her a very, very good round of applause. Then we come to the Toastmaster of the meeting, Toastmaster Prashant. He talked about Pythagoras theorem, participating, and narratives and numbers from a book. Story are made up of dreams, but numbers are landing gears. See the metaphorical usage that he applied there. Then PPT with drama, but without data doesn't make sense. If story and number combine, it makes the impact. He talked about Elon Musk, that is reusable rocket. Passion meets precision. These are the things that I remember a takeaway from his speech. His speech is something that made my time, or perhaps everybody's time here, worthwhile, because he always brings what looks like an abstract topic, but he brings about that abstraction to something that everybody can understand. That's what he did. And that kind of a topic, whenever he takes over, I feel our club is going to be really going places. It's that kind of speech, that kind of words bring value to the topic and do justice to the topic. He talks abstract topic with certain clarity, which is a gift that he has. And only one thing I want to point out is that if you have time to prepare that introduction, you don't have to read it. Few times you did that, it was not required. But your presence was commanding right behind the lectern. You did an excellent job. And in Toastmaster, one of the fundamental values is excellence. And excellence always shows up because each time he takes up such a role, you can see improvement going leaps and bounds as far as Prashant is concerned. It should be called more often behind the lectern, I would say, in case you find time, hopefully. And let's give him a special round of applause to Toastmaster. Table topics was literally owned by Toastmaster Deepa Reddy. She had one thing called mistake is the point, starting point for that. And the various shades, how mistakes and learning or mistakes and joy and fun, whole lot of things. She mixed it up nicely to conduct this whole session. It was very, very successfully done, and it was done in time within the allotted time as per agenda is concerned. And she did a remarkable job. I like the kind of connection she established between the previous one, the next one, through a comment on the topic, the response by the previous speaker, and connected it to the next speech, next topic. She moved very, very smoothly. In fact, that's one of the projects in the Toastmaster pathways. You check that. You can, in case it is there, you can have it evaluated. This itself is one project is over for you if it is there. I think it's one of the electives in some place. Okay, she did a marvelous job. Let's give her a special round of applause. A wonderful. We have covered all. We have all voted. Ballot is done except mine, which I have to go there and do it. And with that, on that note, let me hand over the control back to Toastmaster Prashant.
So in VK Prabhakara evaluates. He always gives feedback to make every member to become a stronger version of themselves. So that is his striving effort in this Toastmaster movement. Let's give a huge round of applause for India. So what a performance it was this evening. In life and in leadership, numbers tell us what is, but stories remind us what can be. So, with that note, I would like to hand over the charge to the President.
I would like to thank our Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Prashant, for giving us a wonderful theme and weaving the whole session together. Let's give a huge round of applause for our Toastmaster. A certain observation, as I pointed before itself, I see a lot of crosstalks happening nowadays. I would request everyone from refraining from any crosstalk. If it's very important, then only please do a talk or else. Let's have a harmonious and crosstalk free session. And if everyone looks at the table topics and prepared speak, some of them have crossed the limit of 2 minutes for table topics. We have a time limit of 30 seconds more. So you can talk for 2 minutes 30 seconds. But there are a couple of people who have crossed that. And for the prepared speakers also it's 5 to 7 minutes. There's one person who's crossed the limit. I would request everyone to please time your messages, time your speeches over here. So it's easier for all of us. Thank you so much. I would request everyone to finish up with the voting. I have again initiated only one response per person, so you cannot vote multiple times. So only you can vote once. Let's announce the winners. The best TAPG role taker, Grammarian Toastmaster Ujwal. The best table topic speaker goes to our secretary Toastmaster Madhu. Best evaluator, Shuba, you need to give your phone to someone else. It's Toastmaster Shuba. Now, best MTG role taker. Now, it's a tie between two people. The best MTG role takers go to our General Evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster A.K. Prabhakara, and Table Topic Master Toastmaster Deepa.
Hold it.
Congratulations. Now coming to the best speaker. I think his voice can wake up anyone in the room. The best speaker, Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa.
My dear friends, today I had no time, but yesterday there was a compulsion from the Purva, please take up the role like that. What should I do? Then I remembered Prabhakara sir. I went to his house, spent some few minutes. He gave a few guidelines to me. This actually belongs to him, not to me. Thank you.
Yes, now I hereby close the meeting number 1341.